Hey, good morning, Huntsville, and welcome in. Here we are again on episode number 10 on a Friday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rob Pipp, your host, alongside our great co-host this morning, Miss Kaye Boehning, and
Mr. Rick Boehning.
Mr. Rick Boehning in the house today. Rick, I was joking last week, so I'm glad you're here.
Okay.
I thought you were coming to say, Rob, what's going on, man? But I'm glad to have you here.
You didn't hurt my feelings that bad. I only cried for half an hour.
Well, we're going to have a lot of fun today. I want to welcome you in, and again, welcome on a Friday. Looking forward to the show today as we'll have Roxanne Moss that'll be joining us around 7:15 or so and talking about the American Legion, Sam Houston Post 95 here in Huntsville. A lot of great things happening in our community. Fun run coming up. I appreciate you guys, our Friday sponsors here on Hello Huntsville, as well as Good Morning Huntsville. And as always, please let us know you're out there. Let us know what you're thankful for this morning if you're just waking up. You know what I'm thankful for? The rain. I know we've had quite a bit of it, but last night, I think it was the first time that Braylon ever really heard thunder because she slept through the first thunderstorm, and you don't have thunder that much up in Fargo. So last night we're reading. See, it's choking me up. I start talking about these children. And she heard the thunder last night, and she kind of looked at the window. We were reading to her, which you guys will appreciate that. Montessori is all about those kind of things. And we were reading to her last night before we put her down, and she heard the thunder, and her eyes just perked up. What is that? She didn't say, "What is that, Daddy?" If she'd said that at 16 months, I would have been impressed. She may have, though, if she'd been going to Montessori. Is that right? So,
probably.
Yeah, probably so. Well, Kay joining us. Rick, good to see you.
You had to move and take her away from us. Though.
I did.
For a few months.
But your staff has done an incredible job, and now that we were able to get the show going and have a lot of generous support throughout the community, we're looking forward to getting her plugged back in before too long. So, well, before we really get rolling, Rick, good to see you. How have you been, man? Good to have you with us.
Rob, I'm a lot better now that I got to see you again.
I appreciate that. I got to say, now we can't go into deep conversations, but Rick and I was ambassador with the chamber, hoping to join again, once we get plugged back in. But, man, you and I had some fun drives there on Ambassador Days, Rick.
We did, going around visiting various businesses. I highly recommend that you guys become members of the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, you got to be a member. And, Rick, I will not, I won't repeat the stories that we had, but we had a lot of fun.
I won't repeat them either.
So, and if you do get a chance, like I said, come out. The Chamber, they do breakfast every, when is that? The
second Thursday of the month.
Second Thursday of the month over at Farmhouse Cafe, and Rick and Kaye are usually almost always there, and it's just a lot of fun, good camaraderie. And that's how I, originally met you guys, just being involved in the Chamber, and it's so important to be a member and get plugged into the community. Tomorrow's Promise doing great things. The Color Run is coming up here. Tell us a little bit more about the event, Kaye, and what you're looking forward to.
Next Saturday, we're going to have our annual 5K color run benefiting the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Every runner or walker's fee is going to help provide a book a month for a child for a year under the age of 5 in Walker County. And we're sending out about 850 books a month. So we need some runners and some walkers to come out and basically help pay for a child to get a book a year.
Rick, you've been a part, obviously, of the organization. You got suckered into it. You didn't. I'm just kidding. I know that you enjoy doing it. But you guys do such incredible work at Tomorrow's Promise with the run. I mean, what has really been some of the highlights over the year? Third annual run, so the third one coming up. What has been the highlights for you over the past couple of years?
Well, the first year, we were in Austin when it started, so we had to drive at 4 o'clock in the morning to get here by 7 a.m. It was a lot of fun. And it was raining like it did last night.
Did it rain last year during the run?
No, just the first year. But it cleared off by the time the race started, but we drove through a torrential rainstorm to get there. And we were at a conference, and he's made me promise I'll never do that again.
Yeah, no more dry. And we're kind of going reverse. Bridget and I actually, as soon as this show's over, we're gathering up the dogs, taking them to Trinity in that area. There's a really nice boarding facility over there that we take. I can't even remember my dog's name, Stella and Mac over to, and then we're going to hit the road and head to San Antonio, and it's going to be a really quick trip because we're going to hear Cece Winans tonight. She's a gospel singer, really good down there, and so we're excited about that. And then we'll come back, we'll stay the night, and then come back early Saturday morning, pick the dogs up, and just be like we never left. That's how things usually work in this world. So it'll be fun, though.
Yeah, when I thought I was marrying her, I actually married a school.
So it's put you to work full time, Rick, which is, not what you. Hey, something else that I wanted to mention too, and you rolled up this morning, and I appreciate you being here, Rick. But speaking of rolling up, you guys have a car collection, and one day I want to showcase that here on the show with some pictures. And how did you get into collecting cars?
It's my fault.
Yes, her father restores old cars, and one of the first times we went up there to be introduced to her family, I was introduced to her family. She already knew her family.
I'd hope so.
And how many cars do you guys have now?
We have 21.
And we have 13 classics.
Okay,
Wow.
we have 13 classics.
Man, that's amazing. We're going to have to.
Oh, 14. One's not running.
Is there a car show? This is something, even though I've been, kind of getting re-plugged in, is there a car show that happens here in Huntsville where you get to showcase those?
Yeah, they're on the square.
And that's and you guys bring them all, line them up and everything?
Oh, no.
No, we don't have enough drivers.
Well, you got to get volunteers. That's what we're having the show. Well, I don't know. You probably don't want people getting those classic cars driving them.
Well, Rob, you're always welcome to drive one in a parade.
I would love to do that,
You
actually.
and Braylon and your lovely wife.
Man, see, that's why I brought this up, because you never know what's going to happen. So, well, hey, I want to welcome you in again this morning. Thanks for joining us here on Good Morning Huntsville. We are broadcasting live from beautiful downtown. Even though today a little rainy and overcast, the sky should be clearing, expecting a nice day and a great weekend coming up as well. But want to welcome you in. Thanks for being a part of this show where we always highlight the good that's happening here in our community. Again, we are live downtown in our studio, sponsored by our good friends at Elliott's Jewelers. Hey, the next time you're thinking jewelry, think Elliott Herzlick. He'll take great care of you. You had a ring on from Elliott, and it's a pretty nice ring, and I've still got mine on, so I guess I'm not in the doghouse as long as the ring's on when I get up in the morning. Hey, when Sam Houston won the national championship, we were graced, Brian Adams and I were privileged just as the radio guys to receive a ring. And I told Elliott one day when I figure out a way to make a little money, I'm going to actually pop out. No offense, but this isn't like a real diamond. But we're going to pop this out, and Elliott's going to hook me up with a real stud in there. So,
Well, he does great work. I mean, you can look at her fingers and tell you that.
Yeah, and I was about to say, Rick, you can look at your pocketbook too and know he
Yeah.
does great work.
Yeah.
So just kidding. But anyways, want to welcome you. It's going to be a fun show today. Roxanne Moss waiting with us, and we'll have her on here in just a few moments, highlighting other great nonprofits in the community. Tomorrow's Promise runs as a nonprofit, and
Yes,
you guys just do tremendous work. I did want to ask you that. Is that typical for Montessori School to run as a nonprofit, and kind of how
No.
did all that weave together?
I actually started the school as a for-profit corporation, and I had ran it for a couple of years and thought I'm going to turn it into a nonprofit. Then maybe it will continue after I'm gone. I wanted to try to apply for grants and do some different things in the community that you can't do as a for-profit, and so.
Which
And
is
two-
hence, events like the Color Run that's coming up to help
in
raise funds.
2000, we became a nonprofit, and I gave up ownership of it and have ran it as a manager since then.
What is it, that transition when you go through that, taking a company from a for-profit? Because I've thought about it as well, to be honest, with the organization on the side that I run. That's doesn't generate a lot of revenue. It's more of just kind of a hobby. But what is that process like when you take it from a for-profit to a nonprofit? Is there a lot of waters that you have to navigate? Was it a fairly simple process?
Well, the original corporation was Tomorrow's Promise Montessori School, and I opened Tomorrow's Promise Incorporated was the nonprofit, but we've been using the DBA as Tomorrow's Promise Montessori School, and I had to give myself permission to use my own name.
Okay.
So
Rick didn't have to give permission.
Oh, no, this was before we were
this was
together.
prior to Rick.
All right, well, perfect. Well, we've got a lot more on the show today. Again, want to welcome you in on a Friday. Let us know you're out there. Let us know what you're thankful for today. Already some folks joining us saying good morning, Huntsville, saying good morning to Rick, Kaye, and myself. We appreciate you being a part of the show. We'll step aside. We'll take a break, and when we come back, our good friend Roxanne Moss joins us as we'll talk about the American Legion and the great work that they're doing and how they benefit the community as well. Stay with us. A lot more to come here on Good Morning Huntsville.
have the
Hey, friends, welcome back into another edition of Good Morning Huntsville. Thanks for joining us. We are live from our beautiful studio downtown and our beautiful downtown square right here, right next to my good friend Paul Oley at the gallery. Come by and see him, custom photography, whatever you need. He'll take care of you. Corporate photos, family photos. Paul is your guy. Please go by and see him. Support local business. Tell him I sent you. Again, it's Paul Oley at the gallery. And this studio is also sponsored by our good friends at Elliott's Jewelers. Visit him online at elliott'sjewelers.com. We're just rocking and rolling here on a Friday. Roxanne Moss, welcome in. Good to have you. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm great. Very excited to get to talk a little bit about us. Community awareness is a big thing we're working on right now. So I'm just feeling very welcomed and very grateful that there was room for us this morning.
Yeah, you bet. Well, there's always room for everyone in this community. That's why we bring the show in, and so great to have you on today. Is we're going to be learning more a little bit about the American Legion. Sam Houston Post 95. Did I say all that correctly?
Yes, you did.
All
that
right.
is us.
I was studying it after you had reached out to me, and I wanted to encourage you real quick before we dig in, Roxanne. Maybe you're a nonprofit out there and you'd like to be on the show and highlight what you're doing. Do like Roxanne did. She reached out to us. I think Billy Papania.
Papania, yes.
Papania. Is that how you – I always say Papania just because it sounds better, but, you know, it's Papania.
Billy Papania. And
sorry, Billy. I love you, by the
way. Prison City Boudin Sausage. Got to give him that plug.
Yeah. So, see, you know, he kind of connected, and then you ended up messaging us through the Facebook page and said, hey, we've got some information I'd like to get out. And so that's, you know, do like Roxanne. Just reach out to us. Make sure that you follow and like the Hello Huntsville Facebook page. Yes. Roxanne, great things happening in the community. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, for those who may not know, what the American Legion is a national organization, nonprofit for veterans. We are actually a 501c19, and that registry tells you Veterans Nonprofit Organization. We serve the purpose of lobbying for veterans' rights. We have done many great things since the inception, which was about 1914. The American Legion comes in for veterans kind of to fill the gap between where the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, has a cutoff, and the rest of us have a home to go to from, you know, about, I don't know, post-Vietnam all the way to current. So we kind of work in tangent with them. We are definitely large scale. There are over 2 million members nationwide. Wow. So if you haven't heard of us, it's time to know of us. You know, we're here for you.
I'm going to tell you some of the best stories. And again, we're talking this morning with Roxanne Moss, representing American Legion, Sam Houston Post 95. Some of the best stories and the best friendships I made. I'm talking about as a young kid growing up. Was around veterans. My dad was a Vietnam veteran. My grandpa was World War II, second wave D-Day. And, you know, I got to hang out in the VFWs growing up, but we had some connections, as you said, to the American Legion as well. Got to hear some tremendous stories and more importantly, see an organization like the American Legion do great work in the community.
That is really what our focus is. We are here for our veterans and families in our community. We are broken up into 4 different entities. Our post is blessed in that we have a body large enough of membership to do that. So the American Legionnaires, of which I am one, if you are a veteran, honorably or general or honorably discharged, you can be one of us. We are why the American Legion is here. And I say that with much love. And it's a big deal to still continue to have a home, to still continue to have a way to be in service. Just because we take the uniform off and pack it doesn't mean the heartbeat stopped for that mission.
Yeah.
So we're here to fulfill that. How we do that is in a myriad of ways. On the daily, almost, our American Legion post right here, we're interacting with financial aid. We're paying critical bills. We are hosting fundraisers. We contribute through post reporting to the congressional lobbying. You know, a lot of people don't know, but the American Legion helped draft and create the GI Bill program.
Did not know that. Yeah,
we were
wow.
a backbone for that. So all the time when our Legionnaires are in our post, we are working on critical needs and focusing on new membership to continue the knowledge of us, the awareness, and the longevity. We also are the backbone, really, and the support for the other three entities of our post. And they are critical, and they are important, and they are so valuable. The first of them being our Sons of the American Legion and our American Legion Riders. The Sons have a long-standing tradition. It's male lineage. There's criteria for it, but if you're a male descendant of a veteran, there's probably a home for you there. They work in tangent with our American Legion Riders. They are part of the National Motorcycle Assembly. And most of our sons are riders, and those gentlemen and the ladies who ride with them, they just are out and about. Anytime you see our congregation of motorcycles, you can just know they've done a good thing or they're about to. You know, they also offer financial aid. They host families for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. They will be out at residences doing incredible things like building handicap ramps and creating safer access for elderly veterans. They have a gentleman member who full-time does medical transport for veterans in need, needing critical care appointments and no way to get there. So just can't say enough about them. We're blessed that they're in our house. We also have an auxiliary unit, and that auxiliary unit hosts a junior league.
Is this like the ladies auxiliary unit?
Yes.
Okay,
Well, we
gotcha.
say auxiliary. There are gentlemen can join too. Yes, the majority of our membership are female. I'm also one of them as well. And I just can't. There aren't enough good words sometimes. You know, these ladies are out there doing everything from interacting and with Tomorrow's Promise. As she was saying, they were involved in the Lasso event, which was incredible. They are involved with CASA. We donate things like care packs for the children they're intaking, that have teddy bears, books, blankets. The auxiliary does all of that. They also are the backbone of any other event going on in the post. If there's cooking to be done, if there's baking to be done, the auxiliary, they're there, and they're doing it, and they do it with a smile.
And when you start talking cooking and baking this early in the
all
morning,
the
I'm
time,
starting getting.
right?
I'm like, man, what do we got to do to get somebody to sponsor these guys to come in and let's get a nice breakfast going?
You just ask, and we do. They're like that. I think it's important to note that they offer a lot of mental and emotional support. Veterans and family members in distress. That our auxiliary is there. We have hugs and we have words and we have room for you, so you're not alone out there.
Yeah.
What else I'd like to share about them is that it is family friendly. We do have a junior auxiliary, and we're doing critical things in the auxiliary. We're continuing the education and awareness of why you should be in service, why community relationships are important, promoting patriotism, continuing a sense of Americanism, things that have, by the way, gotten lost. Well, that is what the Legion is here for, to continue putting back to the forefront.
Yeah, again, this morning talking to Roxanne Moss here to represent the American Legion Sam Houston Post 95. A lot of great things going on. And, I'm proud to live in a community here in Huntsville to where patriotism and all of those important things that make America great are still stamped in this community. I talk a lot, Roxanne, if you listen in before on the show, about culture. And that's the fabric of Huntsville. It's just standing behind family values. Those are things that we don't want to see leave this community as it grows, and the American Legion doing a great job to keep that going. One thing that you talked about was the junior auxiliary. Can you explain, dig into that a little bit more? Because I think that's something that's really great. And this is for young people, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Is this right?
Yeah. So we are blessed in that many of our ladies who are members of the auxiliary are parents or grandparents of the younger generation. Probably right on the cusp of junior high to high school and all the way down, as young as the beginning of elementary school. And we include them in all things auxiliary so that they are in every way and equal to us as a member. They have their own set of officers. They have a president. They have a vice president. Our current president of the auxiliary now is Miss Ashlyn Lawler. Mr. Stacy Lawler, if anybody's eaten that syndicate brisket, then you've probably seen Ashlyn there helping, which is great. And we just really purport a sense of like I said, community awareness, community contribution. We're instilling the values that by and large are getting lost in the technological generation. And, technology is great, but when you have a hardship, technology is not going to be the one to resolve it. It's going to be that human connection. Our mentors, our officers in the auxiliary do a really great job of just including them. When we're going to do an event, a lot of times we'll do a juniors bake sale. They earn those proceeds and they sell them, they bake them, they sell them, they promote them. They're involved in that part of the exchange too. A little bit of fiscal knowledge, a little bit of civic sense of self knowledge, and really just a whole lot of why being an American is valuable.
Roxanne, such important information that you're providing us with today, because, I said earlier, kind of growing up and knew some folks involved with the American Legion, but never really realized the scope, and especially when you mentioned the junior auxiliary, I think that's something that is just phenomenal. You mentioned earlier 2 million members across the United States, 14,000 posts, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Just how has the growth continued for the American Legion?
It's continued. It starts at the post level. We at Sam Houston Post 95 are a great example. We started paying attention to what the membership was doing. We have a portion that is aging out. We have an area we need to fill. We need to appeal to my generation. And I say that loosely. I literally only just turned 50, but when you're enlisted,
You're 50 going on 22, by the way.
Right? It's re-energizing. It is. And we looked around and we talked about it. We launched a new, fresh web page that had more to offer to a modern community. We started a social campaign. I started doing press releases. All of the events that already were in place, hosted by these wonderful ladies and gentlemen who have been members much longer than I have been here, really dove in and took to heart the idea that, more of us would be better, more of us would be easier. And then you just have everybody come together at the post level and become part of the community awareness engagement. It goes from the post up to, we have the Texas Department of the American Legion. At their level, they are running marketing campaigns, they are doing advertising, they are launching videos. They take our post information we report on every year, which is dollars we've earned fundraising, hours we've put in. Our post probably has almost 2,000 hours a year in community service when you combine us all collectively. And they take all of those things into consideration, and they say, what programs are we doing that are working? What programs can we maybe take tension away from and invest other funding into the ones that are working? They make decisions based on what we're doing. And then that travels all the way up to the national level, to our congressional representation.
We're looking right now at your website, by the way, Roxanne. Beautifully done, as you said. You can visit them online at samhoustonpost95.org. Just so much information here. You mentioned the Legionnaires earlier and the work and the auxiliary, and you can go to this website and see everything that's going on. You got some events coming up, too. And
yes, sir.
I love talking about food, Roxanne, so let us know. I see the first thing popping up here is Mother's Day basket raffle. Mother's Day is right around the corner.
It is. It is. That is a raffle we're hosting through the auxiliary. That Mother's Day's basket is loaded. It's easily worth $400 or $500. Raffle tickets are $1 each, or we do a bundle, 6 tickets for $5. If you've got PayPal, you can do it through PayPal on our website. You're also welcome to come be a visitor to the post and buy your tickets live. We'll be drawing on Mother's Day. We're also going to be doing a Father's Day basket and a Labor Day grill basket. So the raffle events are going to be ongoing. Just check our website anytime. Upcoming actual events, the next big one is Saturday, May 6th. We host the Chigger Hill IBCA barbecue cook-off. So our post is about to turn into RV and Campville for a nice long weekend, and there will be nothing but good food and good fun and good conversation going out there. That event is huge. It takes a lot of planning, and everybody is involved in that. The sons, the riders, and key members of our auxiliary especially take that to heart and just do a great job getting it organized and set up. So, when you come on board and you're ready to be a team to go cook, we're ready to have you.
Well,
it's really nice.
Anytime you want to come on here and talk food, Roxanne, we're going to have you on here every day if we're talking food. So it's
I appreciate that. Thank you.
More importantly that, though, I mean, it's just a great opportunity. And Kay, you alluded earlier, and you guys have already kind of talked about it, the American Legion helping to support events that y'all have had in the past as well.
Yes. Yeah, they were very instrumental in the food and, again, food.
We eat. We cook and we eat. We cook and we eat. We do.
But they were
That's why I grew up Baptist, by the way.
great help with the Lasso Your Imagination.
Awesome. Well, Roxanne,
tremendous success.
yeah, we appreciate everything that you do. I want to talk to you for a few minutes longer here this morning. It's a very interesting conversation, and appreciate you being here and sharing this great information with us this morning. Yeah, the Post here in Huntsville, where is it located, and about how many members do you guys have?
We are located at 1919 American Legion Drive. So if
Love
you are
that.
coming down, oh, and here's the part where we realize I'm a relocate and not a native, right? I want to say it's the 2821 heading for the car wash. We are literally right at the head between, I think it's City Electric and the car wash right there. So 1919 American Legion Drive, and you just come down the drive, and our building's right there on the left, very identifiable.
Yeah, there's
great.
a wonderful app on your phone. You can type it in, and it takes you right there.
Yes, GPS is miraculous. So that is where we are located. We are blessed in that we have really a beautiful property there. There's a lot of potential for the acreage behind it, just not what we do in the Post, but what we can do outside of that. You know, last year we launched first ever haunted hayride. We'll be doing that again as well during the Halloween time, and we turn a chunk of our property into a haunted trail, and that's really fun.
How much property are you guys on out there?
I believe it's a 10-acre plot.
Wow, yeah, that's a pretty good chunk then.
That's
So-
a very nice facility.
A lot of room to grow. And is that facility, I know with some organizations, they have kind of an area open to the public. Do you guys have that? Kind of let us know about any of that.
What we do not have open to the public area per se. We are membership based, so our club is private. Now we do host a myriad of events throughout the year that we will stamp with a big red open to the public so that you are
Gotcha.
welcome to come and be our guest. We're also blessed there in that our Post has a club that does have a bar with a bartender on staff. So when you're able to come to an open to the public event and just partake of that part of the activity, you know, our bartenders are great. Our bar kit is really nice. The atmosphere is really great. You know, if you are a prospective member, we can have you be a guest at any time. We host a Friday night karaoke. We call it Guy's Karaoke Show, hosted by Mr. Guy Nealis, and he does a great job. Karaoke is lots of fun. Lots of participants come. But if you're a veteran or family member in our area and are thinking maybe we have a home for you, hit me up on the website and please come be my guest. You know,
Yeah.
start you off with karaoke because it's personable. There's key officers that come, that sing, that interact, and to be able to kind of catch us in our downtime where you can just see and feel the vibe that we have just as people hanging out in our Post. It's a really great first foot forward. And then from there, we also say any of our events, you know, if they're open to the public, all of you come, especially you, Rob, we will feed you. And we will feed you, and we'll feed you. I promise we'll feed you. Our events that are not, you know, just if you want to be a guest, just say so. You know, we're always happy to have guests.
Yeah,
the more, the
appreciate it.
better. It's how we get our word out there.
Now, is the karaoke, is that just to the members?
It is. If you would like to come be my guest, I can accommodate you. I'd be happy to have
Yeah, that'd
anybody
be
who wants to
awesome.
come be a guest. Even one time, we have, like I said, if you're a prospective membership, you know, we say come a few times. Come check it out. Come to a monthly meeting. Each group of us have regulated and mandatory monthly meetings. So you are a participant in something. You know, there are some rules we do follow, but we need to do a bigger, better job letting everyone around our area know that we're here and we can help.
Well, I may come. Oh, go ahead, Kay.
What's a requirement for being a member?
If you want to be a Legionnaire, first and foremost, general or honorably discharged, and in service, you know, you don't have to have a war campaign. You just have to be a veteran in good standing. Not too hard, honestly. We do require that you bring proof of your DD-214. That is a national headquarter requirement. They will verify that. And once that is done, it's just a very simple thing. Our membership is not hard. It's $40 a year. We do one meeting a month. Not a whole lot to do there. If you'd like to be a member of the auxiliary, male or female, we welcome all of you. The requirement is a relationship to a veteran. You know, if I'm a son or daughter or a grandson or granddaughter or a niece or nephew, come fill out the application. We double check their information. You know, there's a little bit about them you would need to know so we can confirm their veteran status. And again, $40 a year, and we have a home for you that is just continuously doing good things.
And part of the auxiliary, are you then able as a member, you can come in and do different things
Yes.
that's not open to the public?
Yes,
Okay,
if you are a
great.
member, of the Post as a Legionnaire Auxiliary, Sons of the American Legion, or one of our American Legion Riders, then you are a member of the Post. in a sense, have ownership of that equal to everyone else. So yes, if the post is open, our members come, and we are there all the time.
Well, with my father serving, as a Vietnam veteran, and my grandpa, I'll tell you today, I'd like to come by and get one of those forms and
Yes.
join its auxiliary and help promote continuing what you guys are doing. So.
You also may qualify to be a Sons of the American Legion, and I know they would love to speak with you too.
Awesome.
So we have room for you, Rob. Come on
I'm just
down.
looking forward to that karaoke, because while you're talking karaoke, I'm sitting here thinking Hank Williams Jr., country music singer.
Bring all that, because Guy would love it. Bring all that.
We sing once in a while on the show, and then the viewership drops down to nothing. So we don't. My buddy Joshua Harris from the Oak Ridge Disciple House knows this. He's joining us this morning. Josh, good to see you, buddy. This has been so informative. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it, Roxanne.
I'm just grateful that, we have a venue like this with you, Rob, that we can come and sit and talk about it. Community awareness is huge. Having a sense of ownership where you live is huge. And when we can do that, combined with promoting a little bit more Americanism and a little bit more foundation for why patriotism is still alive and necessary, I am just all for that. So again, I can't thank you enough for making time this morning. I would love to be a guest again, and just tell me when you want to come down.
Yeah, 100%. And I appreciate you acknowledging me, but it's folks like Kay and Rick who have made this program possible.
Yes.
So without their foundation support, we wouldn't be here. So we appreciate them very much.
And it's people like Rick's father, who was a World War II vet, that has helped us be here and have a country.
Come be a member. We have room for you too.
Come on down again. I appreciate Roxanne being here again, joining us from the American Legion, Sam Houston, Post 95. If you're connected to somebody in the military through family, as she said, a grandparent, you're a son or a daughter, great opportunity for you to get involved as an auxiliary. Or if you're like Roxanne, and thank you for your service, by the way, you have served.
Yes.
Of course, the membership is open as well. Visit them online. We've put that website up there for you, samhoustonpost95.org. And as we continue to build our community calendar, Roxanne, please email me the events that you guys are having, and we'll make sure that we add that to our calendar. In fact, we're going to have an area where you can submit the events yourself. So
that's going to be very great.
You just log onto our website, put it there, and those events will go out on our website and also every week through our newsletter that's going to be launching next week. So
thank you. I'll do that.
All right.
Thank you so much.
There she is, Miss Roxanne, joining us. We'll catch up with you soon. We'll step aside, take a break. Hey, we still got about half an hour to go here. We're going to continue having fun on Good Morning Huntsville. Stay with us. It's your show, and we'll be back here in just a few moments. Hey, friends, welcome back in to Good Morning Huntsville. We are broadcasting live downtown from our beautiful studio, brought to you by Elliott's Jewelers, also right next door to the gallery. Paul Oley, come by, get your photography. He will take care of you. Man, great opportunity this morning to catch up with Roxanne, to hear more about the Legion. I got super excited when she was talking, and, when she mentioned that, I didn't have the privilege to serve in the military, but my family did, and we all know somebody who has, and I think that it's tremendous that the community, can get involved if you're connected in that way as an auxiliary member. I never knew that. So, for $40, man, I said, sign me up. That sounds like a fun night on a Friday night with a little karaoke.
You just want to see how much you can expand your stomach.
Yeah, it's already getting there. Hey, you know what, man? Since I moved back to Hunt, This is crazy. I think we've. I got on the scale the other day and I was like, how did that happen? I won't even say the number, but it's just amazing because you come back and you just start eating good. We weren't planning on coming back this soon. We were actually planning on moving in with Bridget's parents. They already had a couple of rooms lined up for us. We had a storage unit rented, and then stuff just kind of worked a little bit differently to where we came back a lot sooner than expected. But
I'm glad you're back sooner than expected.
Yeah, it's been fun. You know, we dug in and started eating right away. So we're always going to talk about that on the show. By the way, a lot of good friends joining us this morning. Brianna Tolan saying good morning to everyone out there. Appreciate her. Saying good morning to Roxanne a while ago. And then also some folks on the Huntsville, Texas News and Events group saying thank you to all veterans. And I think you can never thank a veteran too much. And, you know, I still love being at public events where they acknowledge those that have served and everybody gets up in a standing ovation. I think that's so important.
I think it is too.
My
father was a veteran.
Yeah. One of our favorite things to do is we see a veteran eating or a police officer or firefighter and we'll go pay their bill and not say anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the inspiration that we want to bring on this show is what you just said. And, you know, those things go so far. We talk about every day, how can we help out others in our community? How can we lift folks up? I mean, a perfect example yesterday, Good Shepherd Mission ran out of staples. And I'm not talking like paper staples. I'm talking like your staple foods, your pastas, your canned meat. I mean, there's so many people in this community that need to be served food, that need to eat.
We've discussed what we're going to do as soon as we leave here.
You know, and those are the things.
Because I saw it last night.
Yeah, and they put out the Facebook posts, and folks such as you and Jason Thompson and many others in the community getting involved and helping out right away. So we drove over there yesterday evening, and I mean, there was already a steady line of cars coming in to help out that organ, and they still need support though. They said that the food bank had ran out of food. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about, we're in America, friends, and the food bank locally is running out of food, and we shouldn't have that in our own country. We need to find ways to support each other. And I went in. I don't have a lot right now financially. You know, things have been a little tough for us as we're trying to get reacclimated and all that. But we know that God will provide. But Elliot Herzlich had helped out and sponsored a coffee pot and gave me some extra funds. And I actually bought that on a card. And so I still had a little bit of cash that he gave me. And I'll be honest, I took that cash, went over to HEB yesterday. And, I mean, for $50, I loaded up the shopping cart. I thought it was going to be $100. I loaded that bad boy up. And I was like, okay, you know, the stereotype that food is so expensive. Yeah, it's getting more and more pricey, but I didn't know you could still fill a shopping cart for $50.
You can if you do it right.
Yeah. Now, granted, there was a lot of macaroni and cheese in there, and so
well, if you eliminate the junk food, you know that people tend to buy, the Cokes and the sodas and the chips and things like that, you can still get quite a bit of actual food.
Yeah, and stuff that's good for you as well. Now, I will be honest, as I was leaving, there was those HEB cheese balls that were right there going out. Those things are so good, man. And so
Don't mention cheese balls.
I loaded up on the cheese balls, as that happened in as well. So we'll get off of that train. I want to get back on track, and we'll talk a little tomorrow's promise. Again, appreciate Kaye and Rick Boehning joining us. They are one of our Foundation 5 sponsors. Without their support and others, we would not be able to bring you this show every morning. We want to put Huntsville, Texas on the map as a community, that this is where all things good happen. I mean, this truly is a wonderful place. You're going to hear me talk about it every single time that we get on the show. I've talked about it 9 times before, now here on the 10th episode, talking about it again. So many things happening. Tomorrow's Promise, a great example of that. And, you know, for a community that's 40,000 plus, I don't think I've ever seen so many events that happen in a place. And I mean that in a good way, because literally every day there is something going on here, whether it's the Chamber having an event, the American Legion, guys.
Last night we were at the Sundown at Sam.
Yeah, how did that go? Because they had to move it inside.
Yeah, it was great.
How many, Rick, did you enjoy it? I mean, what kind of music were they playing?
They played a variety of songs I recognized, but not exactly the tunes I recognized.
And they had it over at was it over at the Gibbs? They moved it inside, I believe?
Yeah. In an auditorium, probably seated about 100 people, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
A pretty good turnout I saw from some of the photos. And I mean, that's, again, there you go again. There's another event on a Thursday night happening. And thanks to our good friends there at Sam Houston Memorial Museum and the Presidential Library that they're putting together.
And they'll be having a couple more of them.
Yeah, and those are coming up
Those
as
are
well.
supposed to be outside, unless the weather.
The weather did not cooperate.
No, it did not.
Well, again, talking here this morning with our co-hosts, Rick and Kaye Boehning of Tomorrow's Promise, doing incredible work. Wanted to give you an opportunity this morning as we came on earlier, and I want you to stay with us because this is very important information. As I've got kiddos now, with Braylon, who's going on 17, I keep saying 16 months. I think she's 17 months now. I know the age.
You're going to get in trouble with Bridget.
I know. Well, I know the birthday, November 17th, 2021, so I know that. But when you try to do the math, I have to Google it because it's just kind of hard. But, I want my daughter to be raised in an environment that really works for her as far as her learning skill set and how fast or maybe even how reserved she may be in that learning process. And I think Montessori provides a lot of those avenues that, again, not knocking any traditional platform, but it provides avenues for kids to really learn and excel. I wanted to give us a little bit of education this morning, Kay, on Montessori a little bit more. I know we talked about it last week, but let's dig in a little bit more today.
Well, Montessori is the only educational method that was founded by a doctor using the scientific method for what was best for the child. Not what's best for the adult, not what's best for, to make good little factory workers or anything, which is how our American standard of education was founded, was to make good little factory workers.
And I'll stop just real quick because I don't want people to get misconstrued and think, okay, well, it's another thing about giving a kid what they want. That's not what it's about.
No. There's freedom within limits. I mean, you're free to drive to different places wherever you want to go, but if you start driving on the left-hand side of the road and doing 110, they're going to give you some nice silver bracelets to wear. It's all freedom within limits. You are always free to do good. So that's the thing. You're free to do good, but if you start, trying to hit somebody with some of the material or throwing it or anything else, that's not what we do. There's consequences for that. So Montessori has been criticized as being too free, and then they've been criticized for being too strict. So it just depends on, you have to come in, you have to see what's going on, and you have to know the system of the freedom within limits. Because, like I said, we're free to go wherever we want as long as we're obeying the rules.
Yeah, sure.
So we're free to do good.
If you want to go visit the Grand Canyon and see a beautiful landscape, that's great. Just don't go over the fence and fall into the canyon because you won't be here anymore. Right. It's freedom within limits, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, they're free to do good. They're free. We teach them to respect the materials. We teach them to respect the environment. We teach them to respect themselves. So it's also the only education system that has the morals and the foundation with it. She believed in teaching the whole child, not only the math and the language, but their spirituality, also the nutrition. I mean, she would do health exams to make sure they were physically fit and getting all their nutritional needs and things like that. All of her students, I mean, she was a doctor, so she did physicals on them to make sure they were getting their proper nutrition and things like that in order to teach them.
I think that's so important because we live in a society, and we have now for the past 3 decades. I mean, as long as I can remember now, that it's so easy just to go and grab something to eat on the go, and it's not healthy for you. And, as I get closer to 40, just turned 39 a few weeks ago, and now, approaching 40, and Bridget will be the first one to tell you, I love you, sweetheart, but she'll be the first one to tell you that, man, I complain a lot about how I feel to her. Just ran down, tired, sore, hurting all over. And I can guarantee you 110% of it is my diet, not taking care of myself nutritionally. And now at 39, it's becoming real to me because I had a friend at 38 who was pretty fit, ate burgers and stuff, but pretty fit, played basketball with him. Luckily, he's still here to this day, but at 38 had a heart attack.
Goodness.
And you just don't think about those things. And a lot of it, they said, well, yeah, some of it could be hereditary, but it's also your diet. I mean, you could be physically fit and still eat kind of bad, and that could damage stuff like your heart. I think it's important that Montessori educates people on it, especially young people, on nutrition.
And the other thing is, I mean, the obesity rates are rising, and it's based on the fructose in our diet. And so we don't have anything like, we don't serve fruit juices and things like that contribute to that. But then also, we allow the children to go outside and play for about 2 hours a day.
Which kids, I don't see a lot of kids doing that anymore, by the way.
No. I mean, well, and the
this
thing
isn't
is,
playing, by the way.
The thing is we're afraid to let our children go out and play because somebody might take them. And so the parents don't have time to just go outside and let them play. I mean, I grew up and you better be home when the streetlights came on. You know, we ran around the neighborhood and did all kinds of things. I mean, were bad things. We rode our bikes. We, climbed trees and stuff like that. And the children aren't allowed to do that anymore. And so, unless the parents are out there with them. And so at the school, we have a large half-acre playground at the main school, and the other school has about a third-acre playground. But we have the largest playgrounds in town, and each playground we have is designed for the specified age group that's on that playground. And so they have plenty of room to move and get out there and be active, and that's part of development also. You've got to have your gross motor development of being able to move your arms and things before you can get the fine motor development to be able to write.
You mentioned some things, and I'm never one to judge anyone or especially to put anyone down, but when you mention, parents are too busy nowadays, and parents, I got to tell you, I'm just going to be honest with you, wake up. I mean, wake up. You can never be too busy for your kids. And I'm telling myself to wake up, because there's times to where I feel like I've got so much going on that it's like, I can only spend 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there. And, at the end of the day, that investment in your child, for those that have children, is the biggest investment, in my opinion, that you can make, because your kids need you.
That thing right there is a terrible babysitter.
Oh, yeah. Bridget and I have a very strict policy that when we go out to eat, these never come out with the kiddo at all. And our daughter is very engaged, because I feel like we don't allow her to be on a tablet or a phone all the time.
They're horrible for brain development.
And
it just kills me to see a little baby have one attached to the stroller watching videos and stuff. They need to have that. They don't need that. They can see the whole world and look and notice things, and that's how their brain it grows.
And you hit the nail right on the head, because all of us as adults know that these phones are captivating. You get immersed into what you see on a screen. And I'm big on social media. I mean, that's how we broadcast this show, obviously, and how we run Hello Huntsville TX. But the deal is that I've noticed, because we don't allow Braylon to have that. Now, I will say this. She does 15, 20 minutes a day. If there's a time to put her down for a moment, she watches a little show. And she likes Elmo. And that's okay, because she says Elmo to me, and it's cute, because there's some things on YouTube, and I'm very careful with how we have YouTube, because some of that stuff just hops into stuff kids don't need to be exposed to, especially at this age. But there's things that she's learned, but we've taught her more than she's learned on a screen, and this is not a teacher.
No.
And I love when we go out, because Braylon is so engaged in her surroundings, and we'll go to a restaurant, and she'll see maybe there's a mural with a horse, and she'll point now and go, horse. Mm-hmm. And she'll see a night background with stars, and she'll go, Daddy, stars. And at like 17 months, last night, every night we read to her, and it's a cute little book called 5-minute bedtime stories, and it's got a story, and then it has like a Bible verse, a snuggle time, and a prayer time. And what's really neat is she loves books. I guarantee I could put her in a room with 1,000 electronic devices with buzzers and whistles and lights, which we have some of those. But I could also have a stack of books, and she's going to go to those books every single time. And what's cool about it, last night we were reading, and she's starting to kind of formulate little sentences now. I say little because she goes, there was a bird, and she goes, that's a bird. I was like, that is so cool. Instead of just saying bird, she said, that's in front of it. It's because you keep your kids aware of their surroundings, not sucked into this kind of stuff.
And that's what's sad, is most children aren't having books in the home anymore. And that's the whole reason why we're doing the Run With Your Imagination 5-color run, is to have the attendance of the race participants will pay for children to have books in the home.
Rick, you're obviously a big part of what happens at Tomorrow's Promise as well. Just over the years, what have you seen, and what brings you the most joy with Montessori in a way that the kids are educated?
Well, don't tell my wife this, but I actually do enjoy reading to the spoiled children. They'll gather around me, and I make noises, I animate the story.
There you go.
They do enjoy it. But
Yeah.
if you tell her I like to do it, then I'll be doing it all the time.
Then you'll be the storyteller all the time. Yeah. So, no, it's just great stuff. And you know, this show is, you know, I want to provide a layer of inspiration every morning. I want folks to wake up and know no matter what you're going through, and I say it every show, no matter what you're going through, that, you know, choose to be happy today, regardless of the situation. Some of you are facing tough situations. We're always going to lift people up on the show. But the reality is there's sometimes that we need to talk about things like this. And, you know, we kind of have a format, but that's kind of why we free flow as well, because these conversations open up things that are very important. And so I want to encourage you. Maybe you're a parent today. I'm not judging you, friends, because I'm a parent too. But I want to tell you today, if you're a parent, don't allow your kids to be captivated with this kind of stuff. Get books for them.
Let them help you cook dinner.
Yeah.
I mean, they may spill some stuff and everything, but you know, then they can help clean it up also. But they can be with you, helping you do things, instead of being babysat by the phone.
If you read to your children, they learn to associate reading with comfort and love, and they'll always have a love of books.
Mm-hmm.
If Huntsville PD is watching, don't pull me over. But when we get to the neighborhood, one of my favorite things, because my dad did it with me, and I'm going to do it with my kid until somebody says don't do that anymore. But when we get to the entrance of our neighborhood, Braylon usually sits in my lap, and I roll down the window because I'm driving slow. It's not like I'm going 50 miles an hour. And there's a lot of deer in our neighborhood, as you guys know.
Yeah.
And I roll down the window, and of course I'm hollering, I'm paying attention, but she loves to sit in Daddy's lap now, and she looks around out that window. I'm not encouraging, don't like take your kid out and drive down the highway going 100 miles. But if you're in an area that's safe, you know, if you've got a lot of property, put your kid in your lap and drive around with them. Open up the window. Let them explore nature as you're very slowly driving down the road. That's my opinion. My disclaimer, don't, you know, if any kid jumps out the window, don't hold me responsible. But I'm saying little things like that
And I'm
make a
going
huge
to tell you,
difference.
I'm going to tell you that most accidents happen within 5 minutes home.
Well, there you go. So never mind.
I don't know if that's because people are getting close to home and they're not paying attention.
They're not, probably.
You know.
But I'm talking about like it's a safe area. Let me put it
Yeah,
that
it's
way.
very
where
safe.
It's not like I'm, you know, barreling down the road, and I pay attention. But it's those little things, though. It's how can you interact with your kids in a way that maybe, you know, you're not thinking about. I'm not encouraging you to go out and, you know, ride around the road with your kid in your lap. But I'm just telling you, those are things that my dad did with me that I attribute, and little things like that I attribute that helped me to be where I'm at today, because I remember sitting on my dad's lap, you know, and very slowly, 1 mile an hour, going down the driveway.
Prior to seat belts and things like that is when I was around. I remember my dad installing seat belts in our cars. That's how.
I used to stand up in the back of my dad's old pickup truck, and, you know, there was the lights, like your cabin light. My dad had an old Chevy pickup truck, and I'll never forget. I don't know how my mom did it, by the way. She had 3 kids, my brother, sister, and I, and it was a single cab truck. And we'd go all the way to South Texas to visit my grandparents. And think about how do you fit 3 kids and 2 adults in the front cab of a truck with no back cab? But we did it. I sat in Mom's lap all the way to Pearsall, Texas.
I got to sit behind the seat in the back, between the back of the pickup and the seat down in the wheel well.
Yeah, you just lay down and take a nap.
In the very back, and they had to let me out.
Yeah.
Sometimes my brother
I
wouldn't
don't
do
know
that.
if you guys remember this, but cars used to have a back deck, and that's where I got stuck.
So, but, you know, let me say it like this. Do things that are safe. I don't want to encourage you, and I don't do that like all the time with Braylon, by the way. I'm not going to rescind what I'm saying, of course. But be safe, be careful. You know, when we're on that last little street, yeah, I'll put her in my lap where it's a dead-end road down there. There's not a whole lot of traffic, and so I definitely would never do that on the highway or anything. But it's just little things. How can you immerse your child? You know, we take her to a playground, and the coolest thing is there's a little music thing at the playground, and now she learned how to touch the buttons to make music. And I was listening. Bridget sent me a video, and I was like, man, it sounds like she's playing a song, you know? So it's really neat to be able to see kids develop and grow. And that's what Montessori is about, is just letting kids learn and at their pace, but also, as you said, giving them the boundaries. What age group do you guys serve at Tomorrow's Promise, Kay?
We have 0 through kindergarten, newborns to kindergarten, and then we have an after-school program and a summer program in the summer. We go on, the 5-year-olds and up go on field trips. Then we take them to Splashdown.
I think it's Hurricane Harbor now.
Hurricane Harbor now.
Is that still open? Yeah, we saw it there. Where's that, outside of Conroe? Woodlands area, I
Down
think.
by
Yeah.
Houston.
Okay.
and work on teaching them how to swim. It's amazing the number of kids that don't know how to swim anymore.
Can I publicly admit something right now that I probably am ashamed to admit? I'm not a fan of water that goes over my head. I can swim. If you threw me in a swimming pool and I had to fight for my life, yeah, I could swim, but I am not a fan of water that goes over my head. Just not. Never have been. It's one of my number one fears in life.
I love to swim, but I don't like getting water in my ears because I usually get ear infections, so I usually keep my head out.
I swim like a fish. I love to swim.
So, it's just so many neat things. Kay, been fun this morning. We're going to step aside. Do y'all have a few more minutes? I know it's a little bit after 8. We want to make up the full hour. We do have a few more minutes. Can we step aside for about 30 seconds?
Sure.
And then we'll come back and close it up. So if you got any questions, by the way, for Kay or Rick about Montessori, feel free to chime in. If you've got any advice for kiddos, let us know what your thoughts are as well. We'd love to hear from you. As we close out here in our final segment, stay with us. A little bit more to come here this morning on Good Morning Huntsville. Hey, friends, welcome back to Good Morning Huntsville. Rob Hipp here. Beautiful day. Today, a little sun coming out. Look at this. The sun is starting to glitz. It's because Rick's sitting right there, and the sun's like, and it just ricochets off the side of the building there from Rick Boehning. Hey, friends, welcome in. Thanks for joining us and being part of our show here on a Friday, long work week wrapping up. And, Friday to me had a lot more meaning when I was a kid because it's like, oh, school's going to be over. We always went and played football down the street. I mean, the neighborhood kids, we had this it was cool because I waited 2 stops to get off the bus so I could get off at my friend's house instead of my house. And we'd immediately drop the book bags and go play football in the alley between his house and the neighbor's house. And it was just so many fun memories. I'll never forget that. Friday mornings, getting on the bus and just thinking, yes, I get to play football after school today. And it's like you grow up and you're like, Friday, well, I got a lot to do over the weekend that I didn't get done during the week. But it's still good opportunities. I want to encourage you this weekend just to get outside. It should be beautiful weather. I mean, we're still looking at temperatures that won't get up to 80 this weekend. The rain should be cleared out. A little severe weather last night in some of the surrounding areas. We got some more rain. I'm always going to say much needed rain, even though, out at Elkins Lake, we had a pretty bad flooding going on a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. There was some roads there that were actually, for a moment, we couldn't even get out of our little back end of the neighborhood, which is why I'm saying, and back of the neighborhood is there's not a whole lot that goes on back in the very back where we're at. And I mean, we literally couldn't get out of the neighborhood for a few minutes because they had to come through and clear out some stuff. But get out this weekend.
And I do know where you live. So, to have Braylon in the car for that last jaunt is, it's safe.
It's not advisable, but it's a little more safe. So,
My road in front of yours, I would not do.
Yeah, not safe. Hey, before we go, and again, thanks
and tomorrow there's going to be Junkpalooza.
I wanted to mention that.
And there's going to be the ribbon cutting for the new stage.
That's happening. So, yeah, tomorrow morning.
No, that's next weekend. Never mind.
Yeah, several events going on, and we're going to
wind down.
That's going to be coming up as well.
Or Wine Quest.
Yeah, Wine Quest. Rotary's coming up here before too long as well. I did want to mention that. Get out here tomorrow morning. Man, if you're like me, Bridget, you're probably thankful that we're leaving, heading to San Antonio after this. Because I will tell you what, if I was here in town tomorrow, you better bet your bottom dollar to be right here on what is this, University Avenue tomorrow. I can't even think because I'm getting so excited thinking about it. Over 100 booths tomorrow morning, thanks to our good friends at Main Street Program with Main Street Huntsville and Tammy Farkas and Angela and all the great staff that work so hard there. There's going to be 100-plus booths on this street next to us, just loaded with garage sale stuff, with junk. And it's my favorite time of the year is going garage selling, and I will not be here for probably the biggest garage selling event in my life, which kind of discourages me, Rick. So,
well, I don't want to come because my wife will pick up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, see, again, it goes back to your wife will pick up stuff and your wallet will lose stuff. And, so that's the way that goes. So, yeah, get out here tomorrow morning again, all across University Avenue, over 100 booths. Again, the city's done a great job, Main Street program, putting this on every year. Going to be a phenomenal opportunity to come out and just see what you can find, rummage through things, just have fun, bring the family. And then later on that day, of course, the opening of the new stage here at Rather Park, which is incredible. I think that's going to open up a lot of avenue for musicians and just more with the community to be out. And that's what we've talked about today, right? Be out, experience the environment. There's beautiful bluebonnets over there that still haven't sealed up. Go walk down University Avenue and check out that new stage at Rather Park. Kay and Rick, before we go, a little fun facts today. It's kind of new, here on episode number 10. I wanted to mention this day in history before we go. Did you know that today is National Clean Out Your Medicine Cabinet Day?
I did not.
That sounds like a very good idea.
So on this day, go home. I mean, seriously, especially if you have kids, we keep the medicine way up high. It's amazing, in 5 moves in 2 years that we've made, going through boxes and finding random pills in the boxes. And I'm talking like just nothing bad, but I mean, it's just random. Like I found a bunch of acid reflux medicine just randomly. I found some other random vitamins and supplements that I was like, how does that fall out? And it's just, you got to make sure. So clean out your medicine cabinet today.
Yeah. My dad always said 3 moves equals a fire. Because by the time you move 3 times, you've gotten rid of as much stuff as that you would have if you lost it in a fire.
Well, we've moved 5 times, so we're a fire and a half. Today?
So do you have less junk now, or do you keep going to garage sales to get more?
No, yeah. I'm kind of having junk withdrawals now. I'm like, man, I need to load this garage back up. There's still walking paths in here. I need to get more stuff.
I have cars that need a garage.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, perfect. Today also
What a good idea.
National Yellow Bat Day. Never heard of that. National Yellow Bat Day. Here you go for all you fans out there that are chocolate fans. How about National Chocolate Covered Cashews Day?
I like my cashews without chocolate.
I've never had a chocolate covered cashew. Oh, hey, you'll love this one, Kay. Today, National Kindergarten Day. National Kindergarten Day.
Wow.
So a little celebration for the kiddos. And then also, here's a good one, Rick. Today is National Rendering Day. All right, National Rendering Day. We're celebrating by bringing awareness to reducing and eliminating food waste through a process known as rendering. Did you know that North Americans, by the way, nationaldaycalendar.com, they consider roughly 50% of an animal inedible? Wow, go figure. I thought if you got a cow, you could eat everything, including the bones. Dry them up, grind it up, use it as powder. That doesn't work that way, Rick.
The Native Americans used all of the animal.
Yeah, they did. That's right. They used the bones for tools, and of course the skin for leather and those. But look at this. This leaves a lot of leftover material that ends up as food waste. National Rendering Day. We learn about how we can eliminate this waste, what rendering means, and why using the rendering process is a smart choice. The reason we were laughing, I mean, there's nothing real funny about it, but the graphic was because it shows a cow, a pig, and a chicken, and there's a biofuel graphic, and then a really terrible graphic of a pack of dog food.
Well, that's what I was thinking when you said rendering dog food.
So there you go. That's it for today. Appreciate everybody joining us in. A lot of fun here today, but also highlighting some very important events. Russell Humphrey saying good morning as well. We appreciate you. Kathy Schweitzer joining. My beautiful sister Rebecca Schaefer up in the Belton, Texas area saying good morning as well. That's what I love about the show. We're able to bring it not just here locally, but the power of the internet and digital media. Not only can people watch it live, no matter where they are in the world, even if you're on the space station, you just have to have an internet connection. You literally could watch the show. I'm going to make that happen. You just gave me an idea. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to get to work and find a way to somehow say hello to somebody on the ISS. How cool would that be?
Cool.
That would be cool.
We need to figure that out. We're going to find a way. If you know anybody, you let me know, and we'll make that happen. That'd be kind of awesome because we could pull them in live. But that's what's cool about it. We love it, and we love being able to promote all the great things happening here in Huntsville. Before I let you go, Rick, what are you most thankful for today?
I'm most thankful for my lovely wife.
Man, that is the perfect answer right there. Kay?
You took my answer from me.
Yeah, right. She was thinking, I'm thankful for this beautiful day. That's what Kay was going to say.
Yeah. I wasn't even in there.
Just kidding. We know that you guys just do incredible work. So thank y'all. Tomorrow's Promise, one final time. How can they visit you? Where can people go to find out more about Tomorrow's Promise?
Tomorrowspromise.info, or they can call us at 936-435-0303.
Go to the website. You'll find out more about the Color Run coming up. Be a part of that. Let's continue to support great organizations here in our community. Hey, friends, want you to get out, make a difference today. Have a blessed Friday, and get out here tomorrow morning. Support the Junkapalooza. And come back next week. Go to the Junkapalooza. Come back next week on the show and let me know what you found. The junk treasures.
And for the race, they need to go to runwithyouриmagination.com.
On the race, go to that website, runwithyourimagination.com. Rick and Kaye, been a fun one. Thank y'all so much for being here, for your support, helping us get this platform launched. Couldn't do it without you and several others, and y'all mean a lot to this community, so thank you guys very much.
Thank you for having us, Rob.
We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend, everyone. And as I end every show, I want to remind you today that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We truly need each other, friends. Provide that word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there needs you. Visit HelloHuntsvilleTX.com for the latest happening in our community. And also make sure to like our Facebook page, Hello Huntsville. Until next time, good morning and God bless Huntsville. We'll see you later. Have a great day, everyone.